CTV News at 5 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. So glad you're with us on this Friday, March 27th. Two young pedestrians are in hospital after a collision in Sault Ste. Marie this morning. Around 8 a.m., officers were called to 2nd Line West and Whitney Avenue for a collision involving two pedestrians and an SUV. Both pedestrians were seriously injured and taken to hospital. Police are asking anyone who witnessed or who may have footage of the crash to contact them. Shifting gears now to the weather and a chilly morning out there. It's supposed to be spring, but it seems like winter-like conditions to me. When will things turn around? For more details, let's bring in CTV's Amanda Hicks filling in for Rick Wyman. Amanda.
Thanks for that, Tony. And you are absolutely right. The calendar says March 27th, but no, it didn't feel like that out there whatsoever. It felt like in the -20s this morning with the wind chill. Your first look at weather is brought to you by CAA. You can become a member at getcaa.ca. So you asked when things are going to change. Well, Tony, I have some good news for you and for the folks at home. I mean, it's Friday, so that's obviously good news as it is, but we are going to see some plus temperatures. We might even see one community that will get up to 11 degrees next week. I'll tell you which one coming up a bit later on, but for now, Tony, I'll send it back to you.
Good to know. Thanks for that, Amanda. The Greater Sudbury Chamber of Commerce is weighing in on the provincial budget. As part of the 2026 fiscal plan, the province is slashing the small business corporate income tax rate. The rate will drop from 3.2% to 2.2% starting July 1st. Officials say the move will benefit more than 375,000 small businesses across the province, saving them $1.1 billion over 3 years. The Chamber president says the relief is a critical step for local operators, but adds the North needs more flexibility.
The biggest challenge just really remains ensuring the government programs are flexible enough to reflect the needs of the North. Engagements on all these investments, policy changes, and programs really needs to start early on so we can ensure they reflect the realities of the North. We know Northern Ontario is not one community. It's not the GTA. Programs need to be more flexible so different regions and different municipalities can respond to those local needs and take advantage of those programs and policies.
In addition to the tax cut, the budget also includes provisions for immediate 100% write-offs on certain capital investments. Meanwhile, the province is taking steps to improve services for children and youth on the autism spectrum. In the budget yesterday, the Ford government announced $186 million in new funding. Now advocates are reacting. CTV's Lindsay Ayla tells us more.
Sean Stadden has been an autism advocate for almost a decade. He has two children on the autism spectrum, June, who is 11, and Chaz, who is 9.
June was diagnosed in 2017, and Chaz was diagnosed in 2019. It was around that time when the first really announcements of an autism program change in the province started, and I got involved because my kids had been waiting months and months. We would later find out it would take years.
There are currently 67,000 children and youth waitlisted for core clinical autism services in Ontario, and they're waiting typically 5.2 years to access that, something that is supposed to be early intervention. Most kids aren't accessing it until 7 years old or later.
Cameron and Stadden agree that any increase is welcome, but they question where the money will go.
I actually had an opportunity to speak directly with Minister Parsa yesterday, and he made it clear that he's not entirely firm on where this funding is going. And that concerns us because we had a similar increase last year of 120 million or thereabouts, and we did not see a large movement on the wait list.
My children's funding is based, they say it's needs-based, but it's on age. There are cohorts of different age categories, right? And we haven't seen childhood budget increases at all. And we know the cost of living is going up, and yet each year, you know, my children's needs don't change, but it keeps getting more expensive.
The previous government, the current government have missed the boat on this. Autism should not be something that the parents have to research and join Facebook groups to find out the best quality of care for their child.
CTV News reached out to the Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services, and a spokesperson says in part, our government is continuing to make record investments, including an additional $186 million in the OPA through this year's budget, bringing our total investment to nearly $1 billion, an increase of nearly $674 million, or more than 200% since 2018. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
It's time for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5. Amanda has your full weather forecast. Right now, though, we're off to the city of Timmins. This live webcam is of Gillies Lake. The shot is courtesy of the city. It's -6 degrees. We're back in just a few minutes.
Pure Country 91.7. Sudbury's home for the best country music. Listen for your chance to win $50,000 with Pure Country's big $50K payday.
Welcome back. Happy Friday, everyone. We made it to the weekend. We got to see a bit of sunshine out there today. That was welcome, absolutely. It was a little bit colder out there, mind you, but things are going to start to shift as we get closer to Sunday. We're going to see a chance of flurries overnight, continuing into Saturday there, a bit of scattered flurry activity, but nothing too significant, a couple centimeters at most. But then by the time we get to Sunday, we start to see more spring-like temperatures out there. Let's get into it with the 5-day forecast, starting with Sudbury Nickel Belt. So a chance of flurries for tomorrow, high of -3. Mix of sun and cloud on Sunday, high of +6, holding on to that temperature for Monday with a mix of sun and cloud. A rain-snow mix on Tuesday, temperatures dropping 6 degrees to the freezing mark, and a chance of flurries on Wednesday. For Sault Ste. Marie Algoma, 2 centimeters of snow for tomorrow, high of -17 on Sunday. Mix of sun and clouds, sunshine on Monday, high of +6. Rain snow mix on Tuesday, high of 1, and then a chance of flurries on Wednesday. For Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, chance of flurries for tomorrow, high of -4, +6 on Sunday, mix of sun and cloud, chance of flurries on Monday, high of -1, and -4 on Tuesday with some flurries. For Timiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, chance of flurries for tomorrow, high of -3, 5 on Sunday with a mix of sun and cloud, a chance of flurries to start the week, high of 1, -2 on Tuesday. See a system moving through around that time with a rain-snow mix there, and then a chance of flurries on Wednesday. For North Bay, West Nipissing, chance of flurries for tomorrow, high of -5, 6 on Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud. And then look at that. That's what I was mentioning before. High of 11 degrees on Monday, well above the normal for this time of year. Rain snow mix on Tuesday with a high of 0. And then we're holding on to that freezing mark by the time Wednesday rolls around. So Tony, we got to see a bit of sunshine today. There's more on the way and some more spring-like conditions. I think that's good news for a Friday. How about you? Sending it back to you.
Thanks, Amanda. Yes, we will take that. There is no end in sight to the Alouette bus driver strike in West Nipissing, and now the 5-week-old labor dispute has made it to the floor of Queen's Park. Details right now from CTV's Eric Tashner.
Alouette school bus drivers on the picket lines stand in solidarity, holding out for the best possible deal.
The community support, though, I think is what's keeping the morale so high.
The strike making its way to the Ontario legislature. Timiskaming Cochrane MPP John Vantoff raising the issue to the education minister.
Why do they have to be on the picket lines to get the ministry's recommendation?
Calandra responded, emphasizing the province is not at the bargaining table, but saying,
I am somewhat concerned at how long this has taken. I've expressed that frustration.
About 80 drivers initially hit the picket line. However, several days after the strike began, over a dozen decided to return to work. Alouette drivers earn a little more than $18 an hour and would like to see their pay bumped up to over $21. That's still under the Ministry of Education's recommended pay level.
We're hoping that the province could intervene because part of the issue here is that there's funding that's available for the school bus operators through the government under the Ministry of Education.
The company previously offered to increase wages by 15%, expressing regret over the disruption. It's part of a larger problem, Calandra says.
There's not a lot of people offering this service anymore. We've seen a dramatic reduction in the amount of companies offering bus services across the province of Ontario. It is something that I'm going to look at.
In a letter to families from the Nipissing Parry Sound Student Transportation Services, Executive Director Chuck Sagan writes, the consortium has not issued a notice of contract termination and that he is hoping a deal will soon be reached.
They're also wondering if the employer is going to come back with some sort of an offer or wanting to have other talks, and so far there hasn't been anything.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
As we reported earlier this week, the city of Timmins is embarking on a master plan for its transit system. A key component will be to look at how to optimize routes by adjusting them and their schedules to improve a passenger's experience. City officials say public input will play a critical role in the development of the plan, and there will be both public and online opportunities to offer feedback.
Like operationally, right now, our biggest challenges is staffing, and recruiting enough drivers to be able to offer our current service levels at any given time. So maybe one of the things we were hoping for is, like, when we come in talking about route optimization, is maybe there's key routes that there's not service may not be required at certain times a day, or the frequency doesn't need to be as high, which then would free up our operators to driving hours to service other areas that are higher. So those are the type of things we're looking at.
Grissel says it will require months of work to complete the plan, and it will be up to the next council to approve it sometime in 2027. The OHL playoffs are now underway. Coming up on CTV News at 5, the North Bay Battalion draw first blood in their series against the Peterborough Petes.
Hockey This Week is brought to you by Rastall Nut and Bolt Company. We're wrapping up this season segment of Rastall Nut and Bolt Hockey This Week, and who better than Nick Rive, Coach of the Year in high school hockey in Greater Sudbury. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
When did you find out?
I ended up finding out via email prior to Game 2 of the finals between Llewellyn and St. Charles.
Okay, you can see the B on his jacket. Of course, it's Bishop Alexander Carter. Program has stepped into the A division for the past season. How did that transition go? Because you did well at B. Obviously, you move up to A, and you had a good season, and you made it to the semifinals.
Yeah, so we had a really good season last year, stepping up our game and getting to the finals of B division. Not only getting there, but winning B division, which was a huge step for our program. Then coming to this year, making that push towards the A division. It was a big step for our program. It was something that was a harder feat than not that I expected, but harder than B division for sure. Having that bigger step, having that bigger competition, goes a long way.
Okay, Llewellyn beat you in the semis. How difficult was that task? You had injuries to deal with, though.
Yeah.
Not using that as an excuse.
No, not at all. Playing Llewellyn was a very tough matchup. They have a lot of good players out there. Obviously, they ended up coming through and winning the cities as a whole itself this year. So just showing how much talent they happen to have on that team. We did have a few injuries, MCL injuries, broken clavicle injuries, shoulder injuries that did take some of our key players out of the lineup. But ultimately, like you said, I'm not going to blame the injuries there. It happens, and Llewellyn they were a fantastic team. So
tell me more about your assistant coaches. You guys spend a lot of time from the fall until now getting involved, working with the players. How did the guys like the season, enjoy the season, or were they disappointed by the outcome?
It's hard to not be disappointed by the outcome, right? You know, everybody wants to be able to go to that final game if you have the opportunity to win that final game, even if you have the opportunity to. We unfortunately did not have that opportunity, which you know, was unfortunate for this year. But I know from talking with a lot of the players that are on the team already, a lot of them are excited to even start next year. They have high hopes for next year already, translating hopefully more success next year as well. And our assistant coaching staff, the trainers, everybody who's been involved has been involved for a while now. We had some parent volunteers. We had another teacher who I work with, Nick Brouillard. He's a co-head coach with me, and you know we work well together. He takes care of a lot of the offensive stuff. Myself, I played defense when I played hockey, so I take care of a little bit more of the defensive side of things. You know, everything gelled really well, and positive response all the way around.
Nick, I'll leave you with this. You played, as you just mentioned. How difficult is it today, or is it difficult to relate to today's players in high school hockey?
To relate, I don't find it too difficult. Again, I know a lot of what they're going through. I know a lot of what they're experiencing. I played high school hockey myself. When I did play, we happened to make a division in the last year that I played, had a NASA push. So all of these things were things I had experiences for. So when they're you know, anxious or excited for this to come forth their way, I feel it on a different level now, because I not only know how they felt in that moment when I was there, but I also know what it's like as a coach now to see the success and how awesome it feels to see, you know, everything you've been working towards translate into success and all that.
Congratulations once again. Coach of the Year, Nick Rive from Bishop Alexander Carter. And of course, that wraps up our segment for hockey this week for this year. Thank you for watching. We're back in September with more.
Playoff action in the Ontario Hockey League kicked off last night with the North Bay Battalion in Peterborough to take on the Petes.
Not going to get that call necessarily. Quick shot. Oh, it goes off the crossbar. Right. Can't get it. It goes in North Bay.
Liram Amadovsky's second period marker would be the only one in the game. Both goalies end up first and second stars of the round one opener. North Bay draws first blood in the series, taking a 1-0 lead. Tonight, all three Northern teams are in action. It's game one against the #1 ranked team in the league this year for the Sudbury Wolves. They take on the Brantford Bulldogs at 7 p.m., while the Sioux Greyhounds are in London tonight to face off against the fourth-place Knights. These two teams ended the season just a point apart in the regular season standings. That game also a 7 o'clock start, and the troops will be vying for a second win in Peterborough tonight. Puck drop there is 7:05. And in the NOJHL, the Timmins Rock are hosting the Sault Thunderbirds for Game 5 of the quarterfinals at the MAC. That series is tied 2 apiece. Game time is 7 o'clock. Northern College held a groundbreaking ceremony today to officially launch the construction of its Timmins campus sports dome. Officials say snow has protected the ground and is allowing for work to get underway. Partners in the project broke ground this afternoon. The province, the municipality, and Casse Alliance, a local financial cooperative, have all contributed toward the facility that will help recruit and retain professionals to the area. Officials say this will be the first sports facility constructed in the city since 1982.
There's a running track, there's a walking, which includes a running, walking track, soccer pitches, hard courts for multi-use purposes, whether it's basketball, volleyball, pickleball, tennis, all of that's inside, and then the clubhouse part as well.
Northern College expects the facility to be operational late this year or in early 2027. There was a tasty fundraiser in Sudbury today. On a sunny day, it was the second annual Sensational Soup-Off. CTV's Alana Everson reports.
Soup to warm the soul this long winter season. The fundraiser was held in the parking lot across from the Samaritan Center in support of the Elgin Street Mission.
We've had a lot of loss in the last week, and it's been a difficult winter for a lot of people. And so soup, we all love it, warms the body, warms the heart.
Several local food establishments took part with a wide array of delicious and unique soups. The mayor served as soup master in support of the cause.
Certainly they give back so much to our community, right? The most vulnerable that we're able to help feed, and they're at the forefront of that. They've been doing this for decades. We are just blessed to have so many great volunteers and a great organization that do this on a daily basis.
6 judges were on hand tasting the soups, but were not told who made them.
A wonderful fundraiser. There were 13 amazing local restaurants here today. All soups were, ranging from pierogi to seafood. It's just great.
Yeah, when somebody asks me to be a soup judge, absolutely I'm in. Soups were amazing, as always, representing some amazing restaurants in the city of Greater Sudbury. But most importantly, the cause behind today is why we're all here in support of the Elgin Street Mission. They're unsung heroes in our community doing such incredible work.
The Soup Supreme winner was the defending champ, the Colonial Sports Bar in Coniston, with its pierogi soup.
I'm the chef, and honestly, pretty happy. Second year in a row. I'm just really happy to be here and support the community. So it's a good feeling.
We just think it's a great cause. We want to help those who are less fortunate, and the Colonial was part of this last year as well. And we won last year as well, so we're super grateful to be here.
The Elgin Street Mission feeds an average of 350 people each day and offers other services too, and says community fundraising like this helps them help people who need it. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Well, a lot of sporting events and culture in our region this weekend. When we return, we head to Timmins, North Bay, and Sudbury. You're watching First at 5. Our first community close-up comes to us from Timmins. The city is hosting the Northeast Regional Ringette Championships today until Sunday. 32 teams from around the region are competing for gold. The action is taking place at the Whitney and Mount Joy Arenas, plus the Archie Dillon Sportsplex. The Nipissing Parry Sound Catholic District School Board is hosting a charity mixed volleyball tournament in North Bay today and tomorrow. The games are happening in gyms across the city. Money raised will support the gathering place. The Sudbury Symphony Orchestra is hosting Revelry and Ritual tomorrow at the Sheridan Auditorium at Sudbury Secondary School. Guest artist Dubrovna Zubek will be performing. There are 2 shows, a matinee at 2, and then the main stage concert is at 7:30. And if you have any pictures, videos, or events you'd like us to showcase, you can email them to us at communitycloseup@bellmedia.ca. And finally, take a look at this drone video. Jordan Martin of the Greater Sudbury community of Lively sent us this drone video. It was taken from above the Mikala subdivision. It's of a red sunrise, and you can see the super stack in Copper Cliff too. Thanks so much, Jordan. And there's more news for the North coming up at 6. For now, continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National News.